right, everybody, welcome into the all-new Fresh Takes podcast
I think
for the week.
Forgot what the name of the show was for a second.
They had a brain fart. It is what it is. Paul Russo, Mad Myth, legend himself next to me, Nick Felice, Nate Sharman behind the scenes producing as always. You'll be hearing his voice obviously as well along the way, boys. Happy Tuesday. Nick, we spent the weekend together pretty much. How was it in your opinion?
It was a good weekend. We watched that Syracuse game.
We did.
At a nice grist iron.
Yep.
But, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, we'll obviously jump into that. Obviously look ahead. We're squaring off against each other this week.
Do we start blaming the refs?
We will get into that. I've been of the opinion that, albeit a missed call, that situation that the late hit did not really make a difference in the long run, in my opinion. But that's just the way I've always been about.
Also, Dino not calling a timeout.
Right, he enjoys taking those things to the grave with him. But your G-men 6-1. Touch on that, obviously. It was an upset. I wouldn't say true upset laden week in the NFL. It's just that the upsets were very amplified, I'd say, compared to most weeks.
Yeah, a lot of upsets this entire year, though.
Yeah.
There had this week not as much, but there's still a couple. There was a few.
Yeah.
I think there was even one last night.
Yeah. And then we will obviously touch on the World Series because just like we all predicted, the Houston Astros are taking on the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, I think I heard they were the third ever team to take since the division series era has been a thing.
Yeah.
They're like the third ever team to take an undefeated record into the World Series, but none have won.
Right. So it'll be interesting. So we'll get right on into this.
And Cashman and Boone still have a job.
True. But we will. That's probably. We'll probably save that portion of the discussion for a later date.
For the day after Aaron Judge signs with the Giants.
Yeah, probably. So let's jump right in, right? Syracuse and Clemson ended up being one of the highlighted games really on the weekend period for college football, oddly enough. And Syracuse for most of that game was really the ones in control. Really dominated really the first half, especially defensively, but really ended up spinning the tires a lot in the second half. And obviously, you kind of mentioned a little bit, right? I mean, the refs had interesting calls, I'll say. But I think to me the big breakdown here is probably the fact that you look at Sean Tucker's stat line and only had 5 carries.
Unacceptable.
Yeah. So, interesting.
For a team that was up most of that game.
Right, and I will go to you because obviously very rare do we get to watch the Saturday games together. What was your, I guess, true expectations kind of, day of, because as we got later on and going into the week a little bit, obviously it's tough for us on Tuesdays, right, a little bit to kind of get a really good vibe and feel sometimes with these games, but later as we got later into the week, the vibe kind of changed around the game a little bit as well.
Yeah, for those 3 hours, I became a Syracuse Orange football fan, and that will stop this weekend.
Well, we'll touch on that to say the least.
But it's just they played the first half so well, but they did play well. Like the score indicated that they were dominating the game. I don't think they were because we watched it.
Right.
And
well,
they got lucky with the one. I mean, Clemson could have gone up 14-7. They got the fumble and returned it to the house the other way, and that was a huge momentum swing early. But they definitely dominated that first half. Not in a.
It was defensively. It wasn't offensively. It was defensively.
And then offensively, they really struggled in the second half. And defensively, it was going to be tough to keep the number 5 team off the scoreboard like that. So they just really they needed to put together some points second half, and they just didn't. So
yeah, I mean they obviously were shut out in the second half. You'll get the scoring breakdown: 7-7 first quarter. Second quarter was 14-3 in favor of Syracuse total point wise. 0-0 in the third. But obviously we mentioned the backbreaking being that fourth quarter, 0 for Syracuse and 17 for Clemson.
And Clemson survived a couple games now this year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of went into this week, and it's a bit of an oxymoron in a way when I say, well, this is the worst team that Dabo's had in this run, but the worst team that Dabo's had in this run is still a beyond good team, right? I mean, it's just not a Clemson team that we're used to seeing in that sense, anyway. Yeah, I mean, the play calling in the second half is where I think we can really kind of jump on things here and probably also talk about the officiating, right? I bring up Tucker only having 5 carries, and especially in the second half, I mean, it's not like, especially in the third quarter, and this is where you get into DJ, Ugalele getting benched, right? Not like Clemson was even doing anything in the third quarter. I mean, I mentioned it. I mean, obviously Syracuse wasn't and Clemson wasn't, but that being said, I mean, Syracuse was, in control still at that point. It may not have seemed like it was a great control, but they're in control.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is the difference maker when they benched, what's his name, DJ, who's your mama?
Ugalele. Ukulele.
when they did bench him, it's not like the quarterback did great. I didn't think he really threw the ball that well. He didn't even really throw it.
No, I mean, right. I mean, it's tough, right? So,
but he was just making too many mistakes out there. So they were limiting the turnovers by making that move. So.
And not to foreshadow things a little bit here, but they bring in Klubnik, the backup, right? And it's kind of like what happens in Monday Night Football last night, where the Bears are caught off guard for probably a couple drives.
Prepare for them,
right? And it ends up really being obviously in the Clemson Cuse game the difference maker, more or less, at least in terms of production from the Tigers. Obviously, a lot of people do want to. And I'm not a big fan of this. I've gotten into this on a couple other podcasts on here and even with friends like off air about, officiating and like umpiring and stuff like that. And when can you blame, who can you blame? Obviously there's controversy surrounding the fourth quarter of this game, with what was declared a late hit, obviously, penalized on Syracuse and then not on Clemson, pretty much the next drive square away. I don't disagree that there should have been a penalty called on Clemson. I do agree that there should have been. But at the same token, it's a lot like PI at this point, and also I guess at the NFL level, the roughing the passer, where I think there's just so much gray area on allowing officials to have leeway with it that you can't expect them to make what should or shouldn't be the right call 100% of the time. And to me, I think the difference comes into the play calling in the second half. Sean Tucker, to that end, also Sean Tucker having only 5 carries. And an underrated part that you mentioned, right? Dino Babers, once again, for whatever reason, is holding on to timeouts and just not using them. I mean, it's not like they go to the grave with you.
Yeah, I mean, we were at the brewery, and everyone was yelling, call timeout.
Yeah.
And you were yelling it.
Yeah.
And you were still yelling even after you called the timeout. So,
yeah, I mean.
we wasted like 30 seconds there, and those were valuable 30 seconds in a drive that they did eventually get. So, I don't know. I don't know if it would have been the difference. They did make a drive, though, that last one, but they just turned it over right in on the Clemson side of the field at the end there. But
yeah, this is, I think it was the first time, and I probably am in the minority on this, and that's all right. But to me, this is probably the first time that we've gone into a game of this magnitude against a team of this magnitude as Orange fans and the team itself, where to me, I think we were more talented on the field. It just came down to were we more talented on the sidelines. I just don't think we were. Not quite yet. And I think this is where I think we finally can put some reasonable expectations on this team now the rest of the year. I know it sounds bad phrasing it like that, but what has the team collectively as a unit the past 20 or so years given us to have the faith to put expectations on them year in, year out? Not a ton. There have been few and far between. To me, really the only time I think we could have reasonably done it was probably during the early 2010s era, with Doug Marrone and Ryan Nassib at quarterback, and you have the Joneses on defense and stuff like that. Maybe, I guess, 2019, which was the ultimate flop, if I've ever seen one. So, I think we have reasonable expectations here. I do think they drop one along the way, not to get ahead of ourselves, but I don't see them losing to Notre Dame this weekend. But, that being said, they still have Wake on the schedule next weekend. They still have a really good Florida State team. They still have a good Pitt team. They still have maybe not a good Pitt team, but a pesky Pitt team. And to be fair, the BC game they should win, so it would be a classic Cuse loss potentially. But this is a team at this point where I have a hard time seeing them be worse than 9-3 going into their bowl game.
I agree. To agree off your point, I do think they could win. They can win any game this season. They could have won the Clemson game. So I think their ceiling should be 11-1 because they can get that. Mm-hmm. Will they? No, but you're right. They should be no worse than 9-3.
Okay. So looking ahead anyway to the weekend here, obviously game against Notre Dame.
Are you going?
I will not be going.
Did you sell the ticket?
Yeah, I did. I had plans that I had for Saturday. They fell through. Ticket was already pretty much sold at that point, so not much I can kind of do there. It is what it is, but that's life. It's trending already ahead of what NC State was trending, so it should be. I'm kind of surprised it actually isn't already.
How much green are we going to see in the stands?
Yeah, so that's actually my thing with this is I'm surprised it's not technically a sell yet. Given the amount of Notre Dame fans around here, obviously. I mean, you're one of them, but it's something that I think we can all agree with here in the studio is there are just a lot of Notre Dame fans in this area.
But this is one of Notre Dame's worst starts they've had in a long time.
Yeah.
So, well, not in a long time. I remember they're like 4-8 one year with Brian Kelly, but it's not there. You say they're going to win, I wouldn't be surprised either because they're just when you lose to Stanford and Marshall, and you could lose to anybody. So, yeah, the hype around it is not as where I would want it to be. Because it would have been cool if Notre Dame didn't lose to those teams in Syracuse. Maybe it beaten Clemson. The hype would have been crazier on this game, and it might even gone game day would have came. So,
yeah, game day is heading to Jackson State for what is pretty much, I believe, the biggest rivalry in HSBCU play. So. That should be a fun one anyway for game day. But obviously, we kind of mentioned it off air because obviously in New York we can't bet college teams in New York.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Is gambling legal in Ohio?
Starting next year.
So not this weekend.
No. No.
Because I will be in Ohio. I wanted to bet it. What about Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania does. Pennsylvania has both physical books and mobile.
So for that, whatever time I'm in Pennsylvania.
You can get away with it, so you choose.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that who Jackson's officially playing because I think I misspoke yesterday.
Jackson State, is that Deion's team?
That is Deion's team. They're playing Southern, so I was right. Okay. Yeah, so they're playing Southern. It's one of the biggest HSBCU rivalries. I mean, it's one of the oldest. So let's go ahead. Kind of look at that Cuse Notre Dame. We kind of already discussed it a little bit, so we can avoid that. Take a look here.
Will they storm the field if
probably not this time around, in all honesty. Thought it was interesting that Clemson stormed the field, to be honest with you.
Very weird.
So they always do that. Meet at the paw.
Oh, that's right, they do, yeah.
And plus I
forgot about that because I actually defended them a couple of years ago.
What was it that they set the record for most home wins in a row too, right?
Something like that.
24-ish. I don't know off the top of my head. I think it's 24. But yeah, I said the same thing. I think I tweeted out, act like you've been there before.
Yeah.
But then I realized that they do the meet. I forgot that they do the meet at the paw.
We caught me in a beer fused lens with that on Saturday. Then
it's got to be the first time in Syracuse
forgot about
football
that.
history that someone's stormed the field against.
Someone should.
Clemson did it before.
Someone should have took your phone away, took your Twitter login off from you, right?
I was going at the ACC refs for no reason. Yeah, it's weird. This week is not like a crazy great slate of games. I mean, like Wake Forest Louisville should be kind of fun. Florida Georgia. I mean, that's a rivalry. That's the biggest cocktail party in the South. So some stuff. Michigan State, I guess. Yeah.
Are you a Florida or Georgia fan? I'm talking about the state.
Oh, the state? I mean, I guess I'm more Florida because I've been there more. I don't know. Georgia, yeah. Florida, to be fair, is not all that great either. Who are we kidding? All right, let's go over to the NFL side of things. Week 7 in the books over there. Kind of crazy to think about. But let's start with really the New Jersey teams. But mainly, Nick, your New York Football Giants. 6-1. How you feeling?
Once again, Daniel Jones, I believe it's his league most 5th fourth quarter comeback drive. So, feeling good. I'm sure the media still does not believe in him. I think we're slightly getting a couple.
We're media. I believe in them.
I think we're getting a couple heads turning. So, obviously, just got to keep winning. They have the schedule. Like, their schedule is still pretty easy. And, like, they only need about 3 or 4 more wins. I think they guarantee a playoff spot. I mean, 10 wins has to be in the playoffs.
I mean, really, to be fair, in the NFC, so we're talking at certain points, would 8 be enough this year?
I know. And then
going into preseason anyway.
The NFC South is garbage. And then the NFC North is not great either. You have Minnesota, but they're going to win the division.
Right.
So which one of those who's fighting for a wild card in that division? So I don't know, man. I think they're in. I think they're going to the playoffs.
I'm with you. Obviously, I think a lot of it surrounds, and I don't think we discuss enough, but like a healthy Saquon, a healthy, really pretty much collective unit around Daniel Jones is making the difference. I think, again, to circle it back to what I think both of us kind of brought up at the beginning of the year with this team is obviously I don't think he's going to be as great as Josh Allen. Obviously, he could just really take a huge-ass corner and be better. I mean, I guess it's possible, but you look at what Daboll was able to do with Josh Allen in Buffalo. I think you're finally kind of seeing kind of the fruits of the labor a little bit with Daniel Jones here a little bit, kind of like what we saw out of Josh Allen a little bit a few years ago before he really took that turn and became the Josh Allen we know now.
Yeah. Well, I think we've said it before. Obviously, I need to always say this before I say this, but I'm not saying that he's better than Josh Allen, but there's similar type of quarterbacks. So Daboll's worked with that type of quarterback before. So, a guy that's not afraid to use his legs and stuff like that.
And a big ass dude.
Yeah, and guy still, I think he's gonna be. I think even if he won the Super Bowl, he would still be under the radar. They'd be like, it's the defense is Saquon's reason they won the Super Bowl. But I don't know. I just feel like when will Daniel Jones finally get his credit? Because he has done a good job. Saquon's the one that's scoring game-winning touchdowns, but it's Daniel Jones who's driving him down there. So he doesn't put up the numbers. He doesn't need to put up the numbers. If you've noticed in the NFL this year, a lot of guys aren't even throwing 300 yards this year. It's kind of strange. So, unless you're Josh Allen or Joe Burrow.
Well, I mean, this week alone. This week alone, you had Trevor Lawrence and Davis Mills throw for 300.
Yeah, Davis Mills. Do you still think
Joe Burrow?
We said this before the show. Do you still think Dan Campbell is coach of the year?
No, come on, it's Daboll.
Not Saleh.
No, well, it's Daboll or Saleh. I mean,
what higher expectations coming in, Jets or Giants?
I think probably to a degree the Giants. I think only because I think they probably had more.
So you're saying right now you're more surprised by the Jets start?
Yes. I didn't think the Giants were terrible the way I thought the Jets would be terrible, I guess.
Tough loss of Breece Hall.
Yeah, I mean, he actually even led rushing still, and that was, after being out, practically, halfway through the third on,
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, the Jets, obviously, it's a bittersweet victory for them. They moved to 5-2. They're undefeated still on the road. Like, that's just nuts. But, yeah, I mean, you're without Breece Hall. Obviously, they go out and trade for James Robinson yesterday from the Jags. But, I mean, Breece has been a fantastic rookie story. I mean, you can make the case he was Offensive Rookie of the Year so far this year. Mm-hmm. So, it's a shame. But the Jets, I mean, what a time to be in the Meadowlands at both those front offices right now. I mean, they're not going to lose out, and obviously neither team wants to lose out, but I think if both teams were to lose out, that's still a pretty positive year in my mind for what they've accomplished this year.
It's better than being in the Bronx.
That's a fact.
Probably a lot of yelling over there
well,
at Yankee Stadium right now.
That'll happen. Big jobs and such. Let's, before we get into our picks for this week, I did mention, right, it wasn't like it was like upsets abound in the NFL, but the glaring ones, the Commanders beat the Packers.
You were happy.
And the Panthers beat the Buccaneers.
Were you happy?
No. Because I just don't understand the direction of this team.
You hate the Packers, though.
It was a bittersweet thing going on there. I'm not going to lie to you. But
Aaron Rodgers looked like he was about to cry.
Well, and that's what I'm talking about here. Are we
Jets,
officially at the end of this era of like Brady and Rodgers? Like officially, like I know we were having these discussions about Brady already, kind of in a way, but I mean Rodgers. I've been on the Rodgers train for about 4 years that he's done. I mean, you could kind of tell the way things have been building, both skill-wise and mentally in the locker room-wise with him. And I think at this point, like, I think they're both just cooked.
I don't know if you knew this, Paul, but Aaron Rodgers is kind of cocky.
Oh, you don't say.
He really thought he was going to be this star quarterback still, even with the loss of Devontae Adams, with all these young receivers. And
right.
That just has not worked out. He has not found the chemistry. He's too miserable and old for them to even figure out a relationship with him. So the problem is it's hard to feel bad for a guy like Tom Brady because he's had such a great life. But he's going through a lot of stuff right now, and I don't think he's all there right now.
Well, he's not. But
all the personal stuff he's got going on, but I don't know who's in a better spot. I would say Aaron Rodgers is in a better spot just because he seems to be caring more about the game.
I don't know if he's caring about the game, but I don't know if he's caring about the team any more than Brady is.
He wants to win, but he just does not give a crap about his team. So I don't know. They're both bad right now. I think the Bucs could still win the division even at 6-11.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, everyone's under 500 in that division.
Yeah, the Panthers.
Division sucks.
They can win a division.
The legend of P.J. Walker lives.
They fired their coach. Traded the running back.
Hey, shout out to Nate, by the way, last night. Absolutely acing a money line bet of the Bears. I mean, just slam dunked it on home.
Yeah, that one viewed as easy to me. Jim and I were talking this morning. He was on the Bears too. If you have two quarterbacks, don't have any. That's the old adage that I believe in for sure. So Patriots going back and forth between Mac and Zappy. They should just go with Zappy hour from now on.
Oh, no.
Did you see how bad Mac Jones was?
Not like Zappy was any better.
Zappy's 2-0 as a starter. Hasn't lost.
He's got a point.
That's all fine and well, but, I mean, Zappy, after those 2 touchdown drives, didn't exactly light the board, you know.
Paul still likes the Lions as the top team in the NFC North.
I hate you. All right, let's pick our NFL games. Couple obviously interesting ones to get to, including.
I will tell you
we're back in London this week.
Nobody in this world should get up early to watch the Broncos again.
I'm not.
We have to stop putting the Broncos on TV. Even when there's a bunch of CBS games on. Turn them off.
Don't worry, it's not on TV. ESPN Plus only on Saturday. Or Sunday, excuse me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you have to pay to watch Russell Wilson. Or Brett Ripien, however you may choose.
Rippin.
Excuse me.
His uncle is Mark Rippin, who quarterbacked for the Washington Commandos.
Can we leave the Broncos over there? Don't bring them back.
Yeah, I'm for it.
If they lose, they might leave Nathaniel Hackett over there.
That'd be brutal. That'd be an all-time new firing high. Just talk about staying at the airport.
What's the Thursday night game?
The Ravens at the Buccaneers. Ravens are a 1.5 favorite on the road.
I like that.
Yeah, I like
the
it as
Ravens
well.
a lot.
Yeah. I accidentally clicked on the Buccaneers. How about that? Clicked on the Ravens, though. We're going
Look
Ravens.
at this guy starting his own parlay as well.
The obviously London game, Denver at Jacksonville. Jacksonville 3-point favorite.
Jacksonville's the home team?
Yes.
You guys taking the Lunder? 39.5.
39.5 is tough.
Yeah.
But the Broncos do not score touchdowns, and the Jaguars will have the home field on their backs because that someday will be their location. Going Jags.
I as well. I'm going the Jags. Yeah, I mean until things change with Denver. I don't know.
Their national TV schedule will not change.
Yes. First of the regularly scheduled broadcasted games, we'll call them Pittsburgh at the Eagles, 1 p.m. on Sunday. The Eagles are 10.5-point favorite at home.
Damn.
Yeah.
I like the Eagles, but I'll take the Pittsburgh plus 10.5.
Yeah. Kind of like one of those out of principle, the double digits in the NFL type thing. But yeah, I mean Philly is straight up. All right. Dolphins at the Lions, a 3-point favorite on the road. The Dolphins are.
At the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
I am taking 2 on the Dolphins.
I as well. I'm taking the fish.
Sure.
Very positive. Arizona at the Vikings. The Vikings are 3.5-point favorite.
I like Arizona this week. Kyler Murray. There's upsets every week.
I guess the shoe's reversed here. Why, Nick?
Because I'm not sold on the Vikings. I don't think anyone will be sold on Kirk Cousins. And Arizona, I think, is better than people think.
Okay.
Yes, they lost to Seattle. Yes, Kingsbury's on the way out. Kyler Murray is only 4'7", and DeAndre Hopkins is back. But I like him on the road.
I am. I'm taking the Vikings here.
Well, you just asked me why. So
yeah,
I
mean,
that was the reason.
I don't see what people see anymore in the Cardinals. They're there. This probably. I mean, the over/under at 49 is probably about spot on. I mean, this is going to be a lot of touchdown scoring in my opinion, but yeah, I mean, the Cardinals just don't do anything, and they can try and deflect all they want, but it's pretty apparent Kyler is not getting down with Cliff anymore. So there's a lot of problems they're going to have to address by the end of the year in Arizona. Raiders at the Saints. The Saints are a 2-point dog at home.
I like the Raiders. I don't like the Saints at all.
Part of me wants to take the edge of a home team getting points and what's better than that, but I am with you here. If the line somehow shifts to 2 points in the course of the week, which would be incredible, then I think we open up the possibility of taking the Saints. But yeah, I'm with you on the Raiders front, at least for now.
I am so huge with coaching being a big deal in the NFL because look at the Saints, look at the Bucs. Yes, they got the same type of teams.
Yeah.
But they lost. They both put in new head coaches.
Right.
And I think that's a huge difference.
All right, Carolina at the Falcons. Carolina obviously coming off the big win. Falcons a bit of a letdown in Cincinnati. The Falcons are a 4.5-point favorite.
Yeah, these two teams right in the mix for a hosting a home playoff game.
Right.
So I like Atlanta.
This is a bit of a toss-up game for me at the moment.
Really, you don't say.
Only because
Panthers, Falcons.
Well, the spread indicates otherwise. The spread indicates that this is at least a one-possession game. I'm going to go ahead and take the Panthers here.
Ooh. You like PJ Walker.
I figured I'd get the Y out of you on that one. But
I already made my pick.
I think Atlanta's so hit and miss right now. Like, it's wild. Like, they come away, they beat the 49ers in a not convincing but like good football way, only to come around and just get shellacked by I wouldn't say overrated Bengals team, but certainly a Bengals team that we probably put too much expectation on, you know.
So you're confident in the Panthers?
Yeah.
No coach, no running back.
They have
no
Steve Wilkes.
They had 2 quarterbacks. Now they have none.
They have PJ. PJ's the quarterback. PJ can ball. This is an interesting one here. This game just opened up this morning, obviously, but the Patriots at the Jets. The Jets are a 1.5 dog at home.
Wow. Who are you going with?
I'm going with the Jets.
I just can't go with the Patriots. So I'll go with Jets.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get that one either. Brees Hall?
Yeah,
Must be a big difference.
Maybe, but I mean Robinson's good. Michael Carter's good.
Zappy.
I mean the Patriots are going to be dealing with questions all week.
Nate did just say Zappy's undefeated as a starter.
Yeah. Also has a no decision. The Bears and the Cowboys are the last of the 1 p.m.
What is this, baseball?
No, hockey, where the goaltenders get wins and losses and draws. The Bears at the Cowboys, the last of the 1 p.m. games. The Cowboys are 9.5-point favorites at home.
I hate Dak.
Yeah.
This is not a Cowboys network for you.
Cowboys are the straight play here, I'll say, on the money line. But the Bears on the spread are interesting because the Lions kept it really close with the Cowboys. Yeah.
I mean, tough on the road, even though Dallas has the worst home field.
Bears travel well. The Bears still travel well. I mean, to be fair.
It's pretty surprising for a Bear. Pretty slow.
Right. Not wrong.
I'll go Cowboys.
Right. First of the 405, well, actually only 405 game. Titans at the Texans. Titans are a 2-point favorite right now.
Yeah, they should be. Titans at the Texans?
Yeah.
I got Titans.
I'm on Titans as well. Again, probably slightly of a toss-up-ish game, but I think the Titans got just too much talent and too important of spots to I guess, fall short. 425, a battle in the Felice house. Big week for you, Nick.
Yeah.
Giants at the Seahawks. The Seahawks are a 3-point favorite at home. You want me to go first?
Mm-hmm.
America. This is tough for me. I have a lot of stock in Geno Smith. I have a lot of stock in the Giants now.
Why?
Shut up. I have my reasons. 2012 was a great year. I have a lot of stock in Geno Smith. I have a lot of stock in the Giants now. That being said, give me the Giants. I'm feeling good about them right now. I think. Okay, go ahead. I'll let you do it.
I'm not going to do it. I got the Giants in this
Oh,
game.
wow. All right.
At the Seahawks. Come on.
I thought I saw you do a pump fake with the Y there.
I thought you were going Seahawks as well.
Oh. 49ers at the Rams, another 425 game. The Rams are a 1.5 dog at home.
Who you like?
I'm going to go with the Rams here.
I'm going Rams.
Wow.
Don't the 49ers own the Rams, or is it the other way around?
I think it's slightly the other way around.
I think McVay owns Shanahan.
These are two teams that play each other really tough. Like, I'd expect there honestly to probably be some fireworks in this game, to be honest. And not the good kind that the NFL likes.
I'm going Rams.
Yeah, Sam.
Stafford's got to figure this out.
Stafford's team to win now.
Mm-hmm.
The Commanders are on the road against the Colts at 425. The Colts, 3-point favorites.
Here we go.
This was supposed to be a rivalry game, and yet none of the guys who are supposed to be playing in this alleged revenge game are playing. I don't know. So for the sake of this, I'll take the Commies.
Why, Paul?
Because I hate myself.
So you're taking Taylor Heineke after you said you don't like him.
Yeah, I don't want to take them.
I'm going to take the Colts because they're at home, and that is the only reason.
we're gonna save the Sunday night game for our last pick. We'll go to Monday night. We'll jump ahead.
This is the first.
I'm saving it. The Bengals are at the Browns on Monday night, Halloween. The Browns are a 3-point favorite.
Spooky.
Or a 3-point dog, rather, sorry. I'm taking the home dog, getting the points here.
Home dog.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the game again?
Bengals at Browns. Browns are getting 3.
I'm taking Bengals.
All right. And Sunday night, we're circling back. The Packers at the Bills, big Sunday night game this week. The Bills are a 10.5-point favorite.
First time in Rodgers' career.
Yep, first time. That's crazy. In Buffalo.
So the Bills have shown that they can break the mold of being able to cover double-digit spreads, obviously. Mainly this year, Pittsburgh. So I think you're safe across the board here. Take the Bills.
Yep, Bills off a bye.
Yeah.
I think they roll.
I think so, too. Packers are terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers is going to be a tough environment for him.
Mm-hmm. So
I don't think the Packers have won in Buffalo. I was looking at that yesterday. I haven't played very many times,
Giants
but
got their first ever win in Jacksonville.
when's the last time the Packers played in Buffalo? Do we know? That's probably someone that's a bit
We'll get
deeper
Tony
into
back.
don't
that.
they play every 4 years? Isn't that usually how it works?
Yeah, but they alternate.
Right. Oh, right.
Could be every 8 years.
Yeah, so it could be every 8.
We'll get our intern Caleb on that one. I'll get an answer for
Yeah, where's Stat Boy at? All right, before we get out of here, we do need to talk quickly about the World Series. Like we mentioned, just as we expected, the Phillies are taking on the Astros. World Series doesn't start until Friday night.
Well,
Friday night. But that was because of the way everything kind of,
Well, if the Yankees would have won a couple games.
Right. So, if you look at the futures of the team here, the Astros are technically the favorite, obviously, at -185. Phillies at +160.
Damn, that's
Do the
close.
Phillies obviously are riding a hot hand, not like the Astros aren't, but I mean, so do the Phillies have any sort of, like, I guess, really to be fair, do the Phillies have any chance really against the Astros? Always good to have a hot hand, but really for the Phillies, I think a lot of it comes down to pitching, and they, even in the starting rotation, you get out of Wheeler and Nola, it gets interesting pretty quick, to say the least.
I do not know if this is true or not.
Mm-hmm.
The last 2 times someone came in undefeated was the 2007 Rockies, and I'm pretty sure they played a Red Sox team that went 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Royals in 2014 were undefeated, and I'm pretty sure they played a Giants team that went 7 games. The Phillies did not go 7 games, but
I see what you're getting at, though.
they're more well-rested, and then those other 2 teams that faced an undefeated team, obviously it's going to be tough for the Astros to go undefeated. To win 11 straight games in the regular season is hard. To do it in the playoffs, even more hard. So, yes, they have a shot. I think you need to take away they fired their manager. They're a 6 seed because they are no 6 seed.
Right.
Because they got some players on that team. The question's always been the pitching. The Nolas, the Wheelers, the Suarezes. They've pitched pretty good of late, and they pitched pretty good all year round. But they have some players on that team like Harper and Hoskins and Segura and Realmuto and Utley and Howard and Rollins and
Pat Burrell,
Pat Burrell. And,
this isn't 2008 anymore.
But it would have been something.
Yeah.
If the Phillies had made the World Series, and they would have played the Yankees again.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, Yankees would have played a team they already played in the World Series. Even though they've been to 50 World Series, so they probably played everybody.
Right. So
it would have been something if it was Phillies-Yankees, because that was the last time either one of them made the World Series.
So I guess for my prediction, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do Astros in 6. I think the Phillies do get a couple. I think they're too hot, but I think the Astros are just probably too good in the grand scheme of things.
Rob Thompson should be manager of the year.
Yeah. But that being said, I hope America's kind of realizing why Bryce Harper's better than Mike Trout at this point.
It is something because they always said he was a playoff choker, and then the Nationals won a World Series without him. But now he's made his own path.
Yeah, I mean he's having about as good of October as there's ever been. To be fair,
the talent was always there.
Yeah. So
I'm going Astros in 4.
You're going sweep.
I think they're just that dominating. I was talking about
they got to lose. The baseball gods say that they have to lose eventually, though.
I was talking about how good the Phillies are, but I didn't even get into the Astros. They are.
You don't need to. I think we all know.
They're unbelievable. Yeah. There's nothing the Yankees should have their heads down for because that's just the better team.
Right.
Same with the Mariners. Same with anyone. Even Oakland, I think, swapped them earlier this year.
Yeah.
But that is just a great team. They lose some hitters. They don't even have Brantley playing. I don't know if he's coming back.
No.
But they get this Jeremy Pena, who's been a nice filler for Correa. And, and then they just get pitchers like Javier and Valdez to go along with Verlander, who just doesn't seem to be getting any older. So they're just loaded. And then Dusty Baker, can he win his first World Series ring?
It's true. Remains to be seen. Looking forward to it. So that'll wrap up Fresh Takes for today. Nick, who are you shouting out?
I got my cousin's wedding this weekend. Kyle.
Sure you do.
Getting married in your town of Cleveland.
It's my kind of city.
Shout out Kyle and his soon-to-be wife, Annie.
I go and defend a city and it becomes my town.
It's your town, man.
Oh, is this what it's like?
No one wants it.
Is this what it's like to be Batman? Appreciate it, though. Congratulations to Kyle. Good dude. Good basketball player. Cavalier fan.
He is a Cavs fan now.
So, have fun with that. Enjoy it. Don't be afraid to explore a little bit. The weather should be decent enough, if you're able to
I hope so.
kind of walk around. The nightlife's pretty interesting, so.
Will.
And there's a casino right downtown. Oh, yeah.
What is it called?
Jack Casino.
Noted.
And speaking of that, does that mean is Cousin Jack going as well?
Jack is going in.
Wow, Jack and Jack. Oof.
I don't think the world can handle that.
Appreciate you, Nick, as always. Yeah. Nate, appreciate you behind the scenes, as always. Like, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff on YouTube. Help us out. Can't watch live, catch me anytime there. Spotify, Anchor, and other major podcasts and platforms. We will talk to everybody next week.